Okay, I want to use this as a backdrop to talk about. This is an exhibit about. They actually have the mummified falcon that was found in a tomb with a pharaoh, and trying to get a picture of the falcon. It's kind of dark, but there you see it, and there's the one of the X-rays of it. And here's them scanning it at various angles. It's a pretty cool little exhibit here where they're talking about this falcon. But I want to use this as a backdrop. People will tell you that America was discovered mainline by Christopher Columbus, whose real name was Christopher Colon. His name was changed to Columbus, which means light bearer. They like the societies that run the world like to use the word Columbia because it means light bearer, because that's their god. Lucifer was the original light bearer. That's why they call themselves the Illuminati, the illuminated ones, the light bringers. But anyway, back to this story. So, little known fact, but a lot of mummies have cocoa leaves and tobacco in them. And just so you know, tobacco leaves and cocoa leaves weren't indigenous to Egypt. They were indigenous to South and North America, prospectively. Now, a man discovered, his name was Kincaid. He found a cave off one of the minor avenues of the Grand Canyon that had Egyptian artifacts in it. This was reported early the last century in the Arizona Gazette. Eventually they were turned over to the Smithsonian Institute, who promptly buried it. And then years later they said, well, we never got those artifacts. We have no idea. There was never any Egyptians in America. Well, obviously they now admit that Eric the Red, Leif Erikson, established a colony in Newfoundland along with Greenland and Iceland, and there's several artifacts that shows they went down the Mississippi Valley. There's the Kensington Runestone, several other things that point to Vikings being in America. And there's also a wreck off the coast of Massachusetts, and it's a British ship. But underneath the British ship, there's a Roman galley that, when there's a big storm, you can find little pieces of the wreckage of the British ship. And when there's a really big storm, you can find pieces of the Roman ship that was underneath it. So the Romans came across the Atlantic. There was a real famous explorer in the 70s called Thor Heyerdahl. You may have remember reading his book Kon-Tiki about how the Polynesians in their boats colonized the Pacific. He also did a lesser known work called the Ra expeditions. And in that one, they built a reed boat, much like the Egyptians, or as close as to how the Egyptians made it as he could get it. And he sailed across the Atlantic in it. So the Egyptians were in America. There's also in South America the legend of Quetzalcoatl and his return, that he was going to be a white guy, and that's why Cortez kind of created confusion among the Indians, and how he basically took 50 guys and overthrew the Aztec Empire, because he created confusion. They thought he was part of this prophecy because he was white. So the timelines are all wrong. They do everything they can to cover up. You can find and say you've got a new discovery that backs stuff up maybe 25, 30 years. But if you come up with something that's totally beyond the pale, even if it's correct, you get buried. Your credibility is destroyed. And so yeah, Orthodox science is a mother, if you will. They don't like stuff that goes against orthodoxy, contrary to their open-mindedness. If you would check out the works of Barry Fell. He wrote a book called The Sun Kings. E. Raymond Capt has good stuff. Arnold Murray passed away. He was a pastor from Arkansas. His son runs his but he's got a lot of out of print books that were germane to this subject. And you can check out the Ancient American Magazine is probably the best ongoing thing. If you ever watch Ancient Aliens, the guy with the beard, he actually used to run it. I think he turned it over because he was making so much money and taking so much time doing Ancient Aliens. But he used to run the Ancient American. And anyway, that's a good magazine. But anyway, there was Europeans interacting with the Indians and Egyptians interacting with Indians. Check out more on timbosplace.com. If you like, I would appreciate this if you would like and subscribe to this. Thank you. I'm out.